Okay, I'm Tony Kerridge from Tony's Tackle. I run the shop in Eastbourne. I've been here for 40 years. I do a lot of fishing myself, and I'm just going to guide you through what we use and different things. The most important part is obviously the rigs. It's good to have a good rod, good reel, everything like that, but at the end of the day the rigs are most important and the bait on them is what counts the most. And I'm going to run you through the rig, a few different rigs, starting with a 3-hook flapper rig. Right, this is a 3-hook flapper, which is used for most fishing, deadly for flatfish and everything. What you find, if you can get away, a lot of the guys, if they can get away with a flapper type rig with no clips, for some reason you tend to catch more fish. These are all professionally made for us in the shop. They come on these winders, which you can purchase from a shop. You can buy a box of them for around about £12. They come from Tronics, or you can buy them individually and they cost about £1 each. The rig's made up of amnesia. You can use fluorocarbon if you want to go really light, but this amnesia is so good, and what I normally do when I bring them out of the package, I'll give them a good old stretch like that and run my fingers around them a couple of times. And I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but see how perfectly that hangs out now, whereas your second one, because it's come off the winder, is nothing like that. I'll do the same with the second one, and you'll see just a couple of little tweaks. Don't go mad. Run your fingers along it a couple of times, and there you are. Absolutely perfect. See how they're hanging out? They're absolutely brilliant. Same with the third one. This is your one off the bottom. Give it a couple of tweaks. Make sure it's nice and neat, and there you have the perfect rig. It consists of size 4 camisans. These are perfect for sole fishing. They're a very small hook, but they're very strong. And I think, as I've said to you in videos before, what I prefer to do myself is bend them in a little bit and just slightly offset them. And you've seen that on the other videos that I've done. Just use a pair of pliers, just a little offset, because I think when you run it across your hand, if it's offset, it will basically just cut into you, whereas sometimes it misses, so it just makes it a little bit sharper. They're B940 camisans. They're beautiful hooks. Aberdeens. There's a stop here which is made up of a sequin and some power gum, and what you basically do when you've got your lugworm on, if you tend to put quite a big piece of lugworm on, the fish will grab it and they'll miss the hook. So what you can do is you can condense the bait down. You push this stop down and that will condense the bait right down to nearer the shank, so it's absolutely perfect, and you can get your bait crunched down nice and small, which is good, and also better for casting. You've got £15 amnesia on here, which is memory free. I say, if you get spun up by a fish, you can unravel it, no problem. The rest of it consists of 2 small crimps there each side. Don't know if you can see that. And you've got 2 1mm beads. You trap it. You slide your crimps on. Always remember not to crimp them too hard, because if you go too hard they could crack off. You use £60 amnesia, 60 pound grease weasel on here, and basically when you crimp it, don't go too mad, just crimp it nice and neatly, make sure it's all good, because it could be dangerous. If you crimp them too hard you could snap your line. This is a size 10 swivel there, which is in the middle of trapped in the middle of the 2 beads. Everything's lovely and neat and tidy. You've got your nice hook length, which you got there. You've got 3 hooks. They're spaced around about 55 centimetres apart, but everyone's got their own favourites. So what you find is some people might want to space them differently, but I tend to space them about 55 between each one, and then your lengths of your snoods around about 40, something like that, about 30 to 40 centimetres. Your link clip here, you don't want the ones that are turned off, the rig clips. You want the flat link clip so nothing gets tangled. These are the new Impact LEDs by Breakaway. You might be interested in these if I show you to the camera. They're luminous. I went to Sardinia a few years ago and fished in a big competition, and there's all these guys using luminous LEDs, and they actually flash the light on them to make them brighter. 50-50 thing. Some of the guys reckon they worked, other people don't. They've now brought them out in England. They've got a slightly finer wire, so they trip out a little bit easier than them red 6 ounces. They're finer in the wire on there, which is nice, so it's not, you can get a bit of movement out of them. Gemini have done one as well. That's luminous. In all the magazines at the moment, seems to be all the rage. I've yet to try them, but fish are inquisitive, so who knows, you know, it might work, it might not. Obviously your main piece of thing is your bait on the end, which we haven't got here today, but you want a lugworm on there, or wherever you live, it might be ragworm, but always keep your bait nice and condensed and keep it tight. Don't put masses of bait on, because you'll miss bites. And what you'll find with these size 4 hooks, you may hook a 6-pound bass, but you'll get it in. If you take it steady, you'll get it in. There's too many people go down here fishing at Langley Point. They use a great big hook. They wonder why they don't catch anything. Use a small hook. You'll always catch a big fish on a small hook. You won't necessarily catch a small fish on a big hook, which is obvious. So therefore, try and stick to a small hook now and again. As you get into the winter, you scale up to a size 2, and then maybe a 1 because you've got bigger fish. But last night we had a competition on the beach, and Dan Wood won it. He had 3 bass. He's using little size 4s like this. Biggest one was just under £4. No problem at all. Okay, this is a whole rig. You've got a swivel here. You use another link clip, which is on the bottom here, on your main line. And what you do, you come through your rod, and your link clip goes onto the swivel. So when you reel in, and you've got a couple of flatfish on, they feed very quickly, they're on the move. You just unclip it, get it off, throw it on the ground, get yourself cast out, and then you deal with it later. You deal with your fish once you cast out. You've got plenty of time then, and then the fish are running through, so you may get another couple of flatties before the tide slows down or whatever. This is the complete rig. It's absolutely awesome. It's 3 hooks. As long as these don't touch, what you've got to be careful, some people, they'll ring them too long. They'll sort of put the snood on too long, and they touch each other and they get tangled. But most of the time, as long as you don't have the snoods touching each other or anything like that, you've got the perfect rig there. So they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, these are all tied professionally for me by someone, all to the right length. And with all our rigs which we do, we do 3 hook flappers in 2s. We do 3 hook dropper rigs, which is 2 up and 1 down. Now they're all clipped down for distance work, but they're all tied to perfection with the right lengths and everything, you know, top grade stuff, everything's good. Amnesia, weasel, hook length, grease weasel. We do 2 hook clip, which is better for your pleasure angler, because obviously you don't need to chuck 3 hooks, because 3 hooks is hard work for some people. And everything clips down nice and neatly. On a windy day, you want to be clipped down, because you'll get an extra perhaps 10 yards on your cast, because everything's not flapping about. But on a flat day, we found that the flapper rigs definitely work for some reason. I don't know what it is, perhaps because they're simple, but they definitely tend to work in as long as it isn't too rough and you can get yourself out there nicely, as we see today. It caught flatfish, and nice ones, you know. Yeah, we had a bit of a tough day today down the beach. It wasn't the greatest of conditions, but we managed to catch 5 species today. So on these little hooks we've caught flounders, sole, bass, eels, and a place as well, Graeme had. So basically, by scaling down and fishing small, we've ended up having a nice day. Unfortunately, not massive fish, but that's fishing. And as I say, if you keep at it and use the right gear, you will catch good fish. And as I said to you, optional with that, you can use a 6 ounce red weight, a 5 1/4 yellow top one. But basically, this luminous one is all the rage. But just try it and see.